Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on and talk about things that I think that are being done right and are wrong. Here we go.
Good afternoon. As you know, consistent with our policy, we're releasing this video to the community. What we're about to show you is a compilation of 911 dispatch tapes, body cameras, and in-car video from our October 6th officer-involved shooting incident. After we show you the video, Chief Davis and Lieutenant Weeks will come out to answer any questions you may have.
The Fairfax County Police Department responded to assist the Arlington County Police Department at 8:37 p.m. on October 6th. An Arlington County police officer shared emergency radio traffic of a wanted man who was shooting at their officers following an attempted traffic stop. Ricardo Singleton, 27, of Arlington, was wanted for felony speed to elude, brandishing a firearm at police, and hit and run for an incident that occurred earlier in the day in Arlington. Singleton was found later that evening in Arlington and again failed to stop. He fired multiple rounds at their officers. Singleton fled into Fairfax County, and our officers became involved in the vehicle pursuit. Singleton struck multiple vehicles, rendering his vehicle disabled on Arlington Boulevard near Graham Road. Singleton got out of his vehicle and fired numerous rounds at FCPD officers. One FCPD officer discharged his firearm. Singleton was not struck. Fortunately, no community members or police officers were injured. The following is radio traffic between the Arlington County Police Department and the Fairfax County Police Department.
Fairfax from Arlington with priority.
Arlington PD, go ahead.
Please pursue a vehicle that just got out of westbound 50. It's a felony vehicle. Subject is armed and dangerous. Westbound 50 passing North Park Drive.
10-4. Car 4 Alpha, you direct.
40 Alpha direct.
Any easy that starts westbound Route 50 passing North Park?
Subject is suicidal. We have felony charges and also shots were fired.
The following is body-worn camera footage of the incident.
So, subject is suicidal. So I have to say the word different, because if I say it too many times on the video, the algorithms pick it up and my video gets unpublished, and I get emails from YouTube asking if I'm okay. But if this guy was truly thinking about unaliving himself, why is he running from the police? Why is he not doing something to cause this early departure from life? Well, I don't believe that he is thinking about unaliving himself. If he was, he would have stopped and got out and shot at the police to make them shoot him. So where they're getting this at, I don't know. Maybe when they were dealing with him before, he made some kind of comments about it, something. I don't know. This whole crutch on mental health, people talk, oh, I got some mental health problems. That wasn't, it just wasn't thinking right, blah, blah, blah. I think that's become a crutch. People are using that as a way to dismiss what they've done, to make it seem like what they did was okay. There's an exception for what they did because they were just having a little bit of a mental breakdown, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Bullshit. You're just a fucking piece of shit. That's all it is to it. Anyway, moving on.
He's going behind the best way. Get to the other side of the shopping center. Other side, other side. Galloway! Galloway!
Get on the ground! Hands!
George, your hands! Good area! He's running down the alley behind the best way. He's coming around the other side of the best way. Units, get ready. Watch your crossfire.
Sure seems like he's motivated to stay alive to me. Okay, so let's go back and talk about Officer 1 here. So, shots been fired, like all this has been described to them. He just witnesses kabam, this dude using his vehicle as a dangerous instrument. No regard for life for all these other people. This should have been the moment this officer said, Leroy Jenkins, and just rammed this fucking car straight into the driver's side compartment of this vehicle. Just fucking pedal to the metal and ram him as hard as he can. Bring an end to that pursuit. Hit him so damn hard, it may fuck him up in that wreck, the driver. By that impact, he's most likely already had his airbags deploy, so an impact from the driver's side would most likely hurt him. The officer would be protected, wearing seatbelt and having airbags deploy, but that would be a perfect option in my opinion. This officer hit the accelerator and just rammed straight into driver's side of that vehicle, potentially causing injuries to that person, and if not causing injuries to that person, at least hitting them so hard it definitely resets their OODA loop. And now they're going to have to think about crawling out the passenger side. Hopefully, it could have caused him to drop the gun and the gun go flying and land in the floorboard and unable to find it, whatever. But for sure, I think he could have rammed this car. Not just could have, but should have. Especially in that moment right there. Door coming open. Yeah, perfect opportunity. Ram his ass. No, went too far.
Fired at Graham and 50.
Get on the ground! Hands!
Units, get ready. Watch your...
And this guy was a canine unit. He could have released the dog. Now, granted, the guy's got a gun. That increases the risk of the dog being shot. But that's the purpose of the dog. Yeah, it sucks that the dog is a lovable entity. But it's a working dog. It's not a pet. It is a working dog. If anything needs to die, it needs to be an animal before a good human. And I think that's where a lot of canine, quote, handlers get it mixed up. They, at some point, inadvertently transition from a handler to a pet owner, basically. And I get it. Like, it's a dog. Yeah, it's a working dog. It looks just like a pet. Barks like a pet. Wags its tail like a pet. loves you like a pet. I can see how people could fall into that trap of looking at the working dog as a pet. But the working dog is a tool. It's just like, it's a tool. Just like your pistol's a tool, your baton's a tool, taser's a tool, pepper spray's a tool, the car is a tool, etc. It's expendable. He should have released the dog on this guy. It sounded like someone said, "God bless you." Alrighty then.
335 Alpha, subject headed towards Best Way.
Oh, high speed chase. Look at that. Look. Oh my God, get down, he's got a gun, get down, he's got a gun. Shots fired, shots fired. Look.
So yeah, if this dude was really, truly thinking about wanting to unalive himself, he wouldn't be running the opposite direction. He'd be running towards the officer to ensure that he gets shot.
He's gotta go. Shots fired, shots fired.
Officers from Fairfax County, Arlington County, and Virginia State Troopers found Singleton hiding behind a nearby building. He was safely taken into custody.
Fairfax County, 335 Alpha, we've got subject shirtless down the alley of Best Way. It's challenging right now. Got him down here.
Up behind you, up behind you.
Hands up high! Keep your hands up! Hands up! Walk towards us! One person commands, one person commands. Frankie, go ahead.
You know, there's a fence. There's a fence behind him. We have blue on the other side.
Keep walking slowly. Hands above your head. Hands above your head.
You guys want to pull him out, go ahead.
Hands above your head. Keep walking slowly to us. Keep walking to it, boys. Keep your hands up. Keep walking! Keep walking! Keep walking! Let's go, Center Boy!
We got it.
We got it right here.
We got it right here. We got it right here. Throw him out. Yeah, you got cuffs out?
Go ahead, I got it. You got me? I got cuffs out. I got cuffs out.
Stop walking! Get down on the ground now!
Hey, one voice! One voice! Keep turning! Keep turning!
One voice!
Stop! Do not move until I tell you!
Steve, go coach the boys. Stop moving! Move!
Here, we'll take that. Don't move! Do not move! You understand that? Take the custody.
I'm going to take my custody.
Yes.
It's him. It's him. That's him. Got him.
You got that side? Just got him down there.
Hey, where was you at? Let's see if there's
All right, back this up.
Yes.
So the person down here with a rifle, it looked like earlier, I could see what looked like a couple people with pistols only. At this point in the game, there is no reason for officers to be running around with pistols only. At this point, everyone should have a rifle out.
Steve, go coach the boys.
Stop, move.
So out of this stack, just one rifle leading the way. Looks like two pistols here. You hear the female voice earlier saying she's got cuffs. No idea what this guy's got. Probably a pistol. So the only one going forward that has anything that's going to definitely be good in a gunfight is this one guy with the rifle. Anytime you're going to a gunfight, bring a rifle and bring your friends with rifles. Rifles dominate gunfights. They stop gunfights a lot faster. Rifles are more accurate, and the kinetic energy, the rounds dump, it's devastating. So their terminal ballistics are night and day in comparison to pistol. They're approaching while this guy is still standing. That's peculiar. I don't think that's a good tactic. Proning him out, getting him on his stomach, ankles crossed, arms stretched out to the side like an airplane, palms facing the sky, and then approach. You can grab one of his arms that's extended out, grab it, yank the fuck out of it, throw him off balance, drag him half foot or so from where he's at to the side, pulling towards you, and then very quickly step in and plant both knees into his body, one into his mid-back and one into his shoulder neck area, and have that arm hyperextended like a flagpole right between your knees, and very quickly start cuffing at that point. Gain compliance over this person. While one person could have come in from the side and performed that maneuver, person with the rifle could have been right there at the feet, aiming rifle down into this guy's back, and then start moving around to get to the head of that person and just plant that barrel right at his head. And if he made any sudden movements, reach towards his waistband, click, good night.
We'll take that.
Do not move.
Don't move. Do not move.
You understand that? Take me custody. I'm going to take my custody. Yes.
It's him. It's him. That's him. You got that side? Just pat him down there. Hey, where was you at? Let's see if there's
Singleton was taken to the Adult Detention Center and served with Arlington County's initial warrants, as well as additional charges of felony eluding, use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, felony reckless discharge, and 3 counts of attempted malicious wounding on a law enforcement officer. Fairfax County detectives obtained charges for 3 counts of attempted malicious wounding on a law enforcement officer and the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. He remains held without bond.
All right, so well, started to fade out. So Glock 17 with extended magazine recovered from the scene. We see the slide, what looks to be in the locked rear position, and a casing in the ejection port. So unclear if the gun was found as it was, or what. But if this is, the way the gun was found, then this guy experienced a malfunction while shooting, and he obviously didn't know how to clear it. And I don't know. They say he recovered from the scene. Don't know if exactly where he was at, or if it was near him, or near that area. It's plausible that he fired some rounds. This occurred. He didn't know how to work it. He didn't know how to clear the malfunction, and thought he had a dead gun and then just dropped it. So if that's the case, then lucky for the police that the dude's too stupid to know how to clear a malfunction and get his gun back in the fight. If the guy did know how to clear a malfunction and get that gun back in the fight, he most likely had enough rounds left in that magazine to continue a gunfight. And who knows how that could have ended. He could have gotten a lucky hit on an officer. He could have taken a person hostage, something like that. So most criminals are stupid. There's some smart ones out there, don't get me wrong. There's some really smart ones. But a lot of them, they're just stupid. I mean, just downright fucking dumb. And something like this, them shooting a gun, experiencing a malfunction like this, they don't know how to clear it. They don't go training. They don't do shit like that. They just pick it up and shoot. So not surprised at all if this is the case of him just, oh shit, bro, my gun's broke. Ugh. So you had enough ammo. Holy shit. Holy shit. Look at all those cop cars. They're everywhere. Wow. Let's hit that again. God dang, look at them all. It's like every cop on duty in that area. Like they're everywhere.
Good afternoon. Do this a little bit differently. Let me jump right to.
All right, so that was it for the body camera footage. This is the rest of the video that comes from this agency. It's a news release. They're going to answer some questions. So if I see anything worth talking about, I'll pause it and talk about it then, and then go to the end.
Any questions? Drew?
I mean, you were pretty emotional the night of. You knew, kind of the situation that the officers and the public were under with how many shots were fired. When you watch that video back, kind of walk me through what you feel for the community and for your officers and Arlington officers and everybody.
So I guess the sense of emotion was that this could have been a whole lot worse than it was. And you all knew the night of, and certainly by watching this body-worn camera footage again, how crowded that intersection was, and how very fortunate we are that no other motorists were harmed or worse, and that no pedestrians were struck either at the gas station, at a crosswalk. It's really, miraculous is a strong word, but we're really, really fortunate that other folks weren't harmed or worse. And I think as you watch the body-worn camera footage, you see that we had one motorist shout "God bless you" to the cops as she was recording the shots being fired and recording the police officers running after our gunman. And then we had another civilian motorist who recorded the events, or part of the events, on her cell phone, and had the presence of mind to stay on the scene. And I think it's probably intuitive for people to want to get the heck out of there when something like that happens. But she pulled over nearby. I'm not sure exactly where, but she stayed and shared that video with us, which was really, really helpful because every body-worn camera provides a different perspective. And it's always not a complete perspective, but one thing that wasn't captured was our gunman tosses his firearm, and you saw the photograph of the Glock 17, and that's actually what we carry now. Fairfax County Police Department transitioned from one firearm to another, so we carry that very weapon, but we certainly don't carry extended magazines with 30 rounds of ammunition in them. So there were 2 additional 30-round magazines loaded inside his car, and a picture of those magazines flashed up on this video. But yeah, this guy was armed with 90 plus rounds of ammunition. It was a bad day for him.
And I was kind of taking notes, so for a minute, see it exactly. Do you know how many shots were fired from each party, and then the officer who discharged his firearm? It looked like when they kind of had him cornered there behind the store, I couldn't tell if there was one more shot fired there. I was taking notes.
Yeah, so Lieutenant Weeks is up here to correct me when I stray from the facts. So I believe it's 5 rounds discharged by our gunman and 5 rounds discharged by the single Fairfax County police officer who fired. There were no shots fired when our gunman was surrendering behind the building. So I don't know what you heard, but it wasn't a firearm discharge.
Jumping the fence there, I couldn't tell.
It was a chain link fence, okay. And our officers jumped the fence too. And I remember the night of seeing the palms of their hands were bloodied because our police officers were jumping the same chain link fence. But our gunman discarded that firearm right around that chain link fence area. So by the time he surrendered to us, he was unarmed. And the police officers, and I was reminded before I came out here that the police officers involved in this were pretty young. And so for them to have that amount of grace under pressure, knowing that one of their colleagues was just fired on by a person, and then to see that person surrender, they really showed a lot of poise. And they acted, again, this sounds like a cliche, but they acted consistent with their training. And they afforded him verbal commands. He complied, and they safely took him into custody, and then his firearm was recovered.
And to that point, can you talk about the decision that's made in that moment where an officer has shots fired and they're trying to decide whether or not they return fire, especially in an environment like that that's already so hot?
Well, unlike the bad guys, the good guys have to consider the totality of the environment. We have to consider civilians, pedestrians, motorists, businesses that are open. We have to consider a whole range of things. They don't, we do. So when the police officer returned fire, again, consistent with his training, all those things were being processed in microseconds, fractions of a second. And we review each and every one of these officer-involved shootings because ultimately they end up as scenario-based training for new police officers and incumbent police officers during in-service training. So this will undoubtedly be part of our basic training for our recruits and our police officers. Consider your environment, consider your backdrop, and we did that. And again, very hectic, volatile situation, and thankfully no one was hurt or killed.
Is that officer who discharged their firearm still under administrative review?
He's on modified restricted duty right now. The investigation is still ongoing, in so much as we ultimately have to review the case with the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, and that has not yet occurred. So that'll occur in the near future. But the quality of our internal investigations, both by major crimes and by our Internal Affairs Bureau, top notch. And I say that with a bit of perspective. I've been in some other places and have seen what this team here does following a critical incident like an officer-involved shooting, and it's world class. We take them very, very seriously. We're just like the rest of the community. We certainly don't desire these things to happen, but when they do happen, it's important for us to get it right. And I think we do get it right, and it's important for us to comply with a policy that's just over a year old in Fairfax County, where we commit to the release of body-worn camera footage, and that's something we're proud of as well.
To be clear, did the officer fire the shot after seeing the gun or after in response to the shots fired?
So the officer perceived a deadly threat to him and to others. So when the officer returned fire, he returned fire because his life was in jeopardy, and the lives of others nearby, motorists and pedestrians, arguably were in jeopardy as well. So I can't speak with great specificity much more beyond that. He perceived a deadly threat, and he deployed deadly force in response to that deadly threat.
Can you talk about the levels of communication with the Arlington? This incident happened involving this person earlier. Was there ever a bolo put out? Was there ever some sort of community message that went out? And if not, why? And also, do you all work regionally with surrounding counties to try and bolster and improve communication as much as possible?
Every day, all day, and I've been a part of this law enforcement community for over 30 years now. We communicate now more often and better than ever before. So the fact that this started in Arlington County, when a couple of Arlington County deputy sheriffs made an observation of Ricardo Singleton holding a gun inside of his motor vehicle, that started at just 8:37 or so a.m. And then when he took off, hit a car and took off and fled in that vehicle, the Arlington County Police Department was then involved, and they're the ones who obtained criminal arrest warrants for Ricardo Singleton. And then a regional communication took place with surrounding agencies, and Arlington County Police Department was searching for him throughout the day. So they were in communication with the jurisdiction where they suspected our gunman was, and that's where Prince George's County comes into play. So here we are with another agency, and Prince George's County picked up on the car, observed the car, eventually that car made its way from Prince George's County back to Arlington County. Arlington County picks it up, attempts to stop Singleton. Singleton flees. He shoots out the window at the Arlington County cops who are pursuing him. Virginia State Police get involved. Virginia State Police were actually in Fairfax County that day, helping us with an unrelated operation. So, multiple agencies, not uncommon in the National Capital Region, but I'll say the level of communication cooperation is strong. Our Office of Emergency Management put out a message to the community warning of traffic congestion just 9 minutes after this officer-involved shooting. I think I heard some, and our Public Affairs Bureau was real-time tweeting, if that's a thing. It is now. So they were real-time tweeting in a really timely way what was happening as well. So,
hold on, I gotta listen to that.
It isn't. And this officer-involved shooting, I think I heard some, and our Public Affairs Bureau was real-time tweeting, if that's a thing. It is now. So they were real-time tweeting in a really timely way what was happening as in a really timely way.
In a really timely way? What the fuck does that mean?
what was happening as well. So and again, we will review everything. If we could do it better and faster, we will. We don't want to get it wrong, but we want to get it out there pretty quick. Amari.
And the footage, one of the officers says that Singleton, that the subject is suicidal. How did officers come to that?
So we had that conversation again just today, because I heard that audio on the body camera footage by the Arlington County police officer. So that radio transmission was made by an Arlington County police officer who probably, and I'm going to guess a little bit here, was aware of the fact that Arlington County deputy sheriffs saw Singleton earlier in the day in a car by himself holding a gun up and saying something to the effect of, "I need help." So that's probably, that message throughout the day and the night was probably transmitted from Arlington County Sheriff to Arlington County PD to surrounding jurisdictions, and that Arlington County police officer included that in his radio transmission. I'm not sure that there's often a difference between someone who's suicidal and homicidal. Maybe this person was a little bit both. I don't know, but he's still held on no bond at the adult detention center. He's 20.
I would say he's more homicidal than anything. Like I said, there were ample opportunities for him to do things to cause the police to unalive him, but he chose to persevere. He chose to preserve his life.
27 years old. I'm not aware of any significant, or if any, criminal history. So he was obviously in some state of crisis that day.
Chief, can I ask a question for an unrelated incident? We're just getting a report that could be a stabbing at Grand High School. We're told to inquire from Fairfax County Police. Do you have any information?
So we're on the scene of that stabbing at Mount Vernon High School right now. I do know that a 15-year-old student was stabbed by another student inside the high school, I believe, in a restroom. The student who was stabbed, the victim, has non-life-threatening injuries, thank God. We know who the person responsible is for the stabbing. We know who the perpetrator is, and we're working right now to visit him and place him in custody.
She gave us an update. He was just taken in custody, sir.
Yeah, real time. That's like better than a tweet. He's locked up. Thanks, G. And we'll get you more on that. But certainly, if I'm a parent, a student, a teacher, administrator, that certainly is something that is, that's a worst case scenario. And thankfully, he's still alive, and thankfully, we have the person in custody, and we'll work to sort through any other issues to ensure that there's no retaliatory issues that we need to get in front of.
Was there a fight, an argument, any of you sent to what led up to this?
I don't know right now, but when we know, we'll certainly share that with you and the community at large, and our partners in the schools. Well, thank you all very much.
Thanks, Chief.
All right. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.